Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Hey, welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Put on Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. It's a beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSPR is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. Coming up on the season here, I believe in a couple days here. You got a couple days before rookies get in there, and then all of a sudden you have the big boys come in. And then you got the full squad in there, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully they have no injuries injuries coming up in that season. So we'll see what happens there. We're talking wide receivers right now for the Raiders, and I'm excluding Bowers in this conversation. So let's just move on from Bowers in this guy, because Bowers is a tight end. If he's called the tight end, I think the Raiders tight end room, when you have it's pretty deep when you got Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and I like Ian Thomas as well from the Panthers as well. So they do have a bunch of guys who are pretty deep there, and we already know about that. But I think the biggest battle, I know people are already chronicling this battle between Tucker and Thornton here. And it's a big one because this is a career-defining thing for them. For some of these guys. I mean, if you're Tucker, you've been here for a while now. Got drafted in 23. You're basically just trying to stem off the tide here and then be the deep threat for this team. To be the preeminent deep threat for this team, and that's going to be you're going to need to be this passing offense needs a James Jett. And that would be, they need a guy who can just stretch the field and just occasionally catch 2 or 3 balls in a game to kind of change the way these teams guard the Raiders. Because right now the Raiders are going to be, defended, 20 yards and in for the most part with this wide receiving core. I mean, will Jacoby will Jacoby catch a little 10-yard pass, 15-yard pass, and then break a couple of tackles once in a while and get you 20, 30 on plays here and there? Yeah, of course. He's a very comparable, really good receiver. The Niners were trying to trade with the Raiders to get Jacoby Myers, so he has some real value in the National Football League. So I definitely respect that part of it. But he's not the deep threat. This is what his offense is missing is that deep threat wide receiver. And you might see packages where when they go through wide receiver, they might bring in Thornton and Tucker to be on the field at the same time to add those speed elements to the thing now to the offense. I mean, is Tucker a new Tucker? Is the same Tucker who doesn't, kind of struggled with catching the ball on the sidelines and realizing that you need 2 feet in? His toe drag swag, if you will, was not something that was very well thought of last year or the year before. He's kind of struggled in that category. And the question is Dante Thornton real? Is he real? Is this everybody in camp is it making it seem like he is just this next level talent? Well, I mean, that's camp and that's whatever, but can he do it? Can he do it when everything is there? When he's going up against Vrabel's defense in New England, is that going to be something where he's going to be able to handle that? We're not going to know. He's not a proven entity, if you will. But the Raiders brass needs to get that done, and hopefully they will. But the wide receiving core has a missing element to it. They got a couple of guys who can come in and block. When you want to run the football, Jacoby Myers can come block. Jack Besh can block. they can catch the football. Jack Best didn't drop a lot of passes in college. Neither did last year with Jacoby Myers in his career. He's been one of the most short-handed receivers in all of football. But you know, in this world of the National Football League, it's very difficult to sit there and just run play after play after play after play. Like you got to hit some chunk plays in this league. You have to hit chunk plays in this league. You got to hit chunk plays in this league. If you don't hit chunk plays in this league, then it's kind of a waste, bro. It takes you so long to score. You have to be precise. Your offensive line is your O line going to hold up the whole game? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's something that's something you got to think about too. It's like, you kind of on these, 10. That's why nobody wants to have these, 10, 12, 13, 14 play drives, because you're not going to be able to sustain those kind of drives. You're going to get a penalty here and there. It's just going to happen. These defensive linemen, these offensive coordinators, these defensive coordinators are so talented and so gifted. They're gonna bring everything towards you, and you got to be able to handle all of that. And it's hard to handle all that. Very difficult to handle that. That being said, it's kind of vital. It's kind of really important to the development of those two players, and it doesn't matter which one it is. It doesn't matter if it's Tucker. It doesn't matter if it's Thornton. Um, but the Raiders desperately need one of those guys to kind of step up to the plate and just be a team that is going to be, you know, be a wide receiver who's going to help the Raiders get chunk plays. You got to get it. You got to have that. And with this play caller and Chip Kelly, he's going to run the football, get the ball out quick, and then all of a sudden he's going to play action, and then he's going to throw the ball down the field. And when he throws the ball on the field and he schemes that play wide open, his expectation, and I think everybody else's expectation, is that you're able to catch the football and make your play. And that's going to be huge for the Raiders. They have to be able to do that. It's a big part of, of this offense, is to be able to take advantage of those big time plays when you're called upon. Now, Thornton looks like, he's a big receiver with that speed as well. I mean, the guy's 6'5", opposed to Tucker, who's kind of a smaller guy. Um, Tucker's only like 5'9". So, you know, that's something to, like, obviously, the contested catch stuff. Thornton might be able to be better at that than Tucker will be. But no matter how you cut it, the Raiders desperately need one of those guys to step up at wide receiver to be a deep threat. And then once you get the deep threat going, then after that, everything else is going to open up for you. Then you have people playing off coverage where you can just turn around and sit down and get a good, 5 yards on the catch, and then if you break that tackle, you get 10 to 15 yards. Like, once you hit a couple of those deep balls, and even if you don't hit them, sometimes it makes the defense aware that, okay, we do have to play the entire length of the field and defend every blade of grass, if you will. So we'll see what happens with that as well. ESPN came out with off-season grades. This is like kind of cheesy for the most part when they do this, but we will talk about the Raiders grade here. Let's click on see what the Raiders had for a grade. So the Raiders had a B. Their biggest move was trading for Geno Smith. The move that they liked was resigning Adam Butler. And then the move they disliked was drafting Ashton Genty at 6. So looking at that real quick, I mean, they like the move. They like a lot of the moves, but they think that Genty was not a great pick for them as well. Because they probably had different needs, and that's a very high spot for a running back. Then you also have the fact that Geno Smith is 34 years old. They like the move for them. They like the move, but it's for a third round pick. Again, I don't hate the move. I just want a quarterback behind him. I want a young quarterback, and then until the Raiders do that, I don't think anybody can take them real serious. As far as that goes, some other moves that they liked was obviously picking up Jeremy Chin, which is just a move because they already lost a safety, retaining Butler and rusher Malcolm Kuntz, who everybody likes Malcolm Kuntz as far as that very efficient pass rusher. And then the move that they don't like at all, and every fan hated, was them picking up Alice Kappa. And it sounds like Alice Kappa is going to be, unless something really crazy happens, that he's going to be starting. He's going to be given an opportunity to start. We'll see. We'll see. They drafted a lot of offensive linemen, and they also, they have some pieces that they might want to go ahead and give an opportunity to. You also do have, Dylan Parham there. If somebody shows out at tackle, would they move Thayer Mumford inside? Caleb Rogers is a guy who they could maybe move inside as well too. So we'll see. We'll see what the Raiders do with that. But ESPN kind of gave him a B. A lot of they didn't really grade anybody like really poorly as far as that goes. I think the worst grade I've seen. Everybody got B's. So this is why when they do this, yeah, I'm going through the whole thing. Arizona got an A-. Like everybody gets. If you're gonna grade and do all this stuff, like all these teams cannot get B. Not There's no way that all these teams can get B pluses and A's as far as that goes. The Giants, the Chargers, everybody got to be. Everybody got to be Lions got to be minus. Seattle got to be like the Dolphins, who everybody thinks their coach is going to be the first one to get fired. He got to be. They got to be minus in their offseason. The C plus. Okay, here you go. The Packers got a C plus. So that would be the worst grade I've seen. The Patriots got a C. The Patriots got a C plus, and then you also had the Vikings, who had a C plus as well. But as far as the Raiders go, I mean, we're like obviously this is a time for the rookies to come in. I believe they come in on the 17th. They have an opportunity to get acclimated and get ready for the season. So good luck to them as far as that goes. I would not pay crazy. You're seeing less and less work in preseason now than ever. So like now it's like it's so bland, it's so watered down. You see anything there, you can't even get excited about it at all. And nobody who's worth anything big is going to be playing in those. Be playing in that. So it's very difficult to judge any of this stuff. You can sit there and talk about what Coach Carroll says, but he won't give you the whole thing. As far as that goes, I would also look at as far as offensive line too. I forgot this. I would definitely look at Jordan Meredith as well, a guy who played last year, who definitely will push for a starting role. But again, Christian Wilkins, like you just don't know. I mean, you just don't know. And him not being there is a big part. It's a big missing piece. I don't think a guy like Hemingway or Pegasus or any of those guys are going to be ready to go immediately. I think Pratt helps you. Roberts helps you. I don't know if Devin White makes the team. We'll have to see. I mean, they got Devin White and they got Jalen Smith. Like somebody's not making the team, and as far as those two guys go. And I think the biggest thing is if teams spread the Raiders out and say, okay, we're gonna spread you out, and then just get the ball, get rid of the ball quickly, and then force your corners to make plays. That's going to be the issue. And we already know that Patrick Graham does not love. He does not stop the run. In his career as a head coach, he has not stopped the run very well at all. So that's something to think about as well. So long way to go. We'll see what the Raiders do. The rookies come in coming up, and we'll be talking about a lot of different things on the rookies and what's going on in training camp and how's everything going, monitoring those situations there. The Raiders did cut they have Cam. Their quarterbacks are Geno Smith, Cam Miller, and then you also have Aiden O'Connell. They cut Carter Bradley, so he's not on the team anymore. And then we'll see what they do with this running back room too, because I could see, you know, I can see maybe a player or two getting cut there as well too. We'll have to see what happens there. All right, peace, Ray Nation.